Hey, welcome in everybody to another edition of Pink Show. We are going to do film this week. Didn't do it last week. No point in it. It was better to have Alan on and us talk through some things. And we'll probably do that again. Won't do it for this particular show because I think it's very important for us to go over the offense. I wanted to go over defense, but I didn't really get the clips ready in time, to be honest with you. So I'll talk through a few things that I saw on that side of the ball before I get into film. But definitely we are going to go through the offense and talk about the tweaks and changes made, and just sort of praise them a little bit because I thought, man, it was very impressive what they put together after a week of preparation. 1 week, remember that 1 week. It's impressive to me. Yes, as we discussed on the Collins show, not everybody agrees with my side of things. And the way I see the game, it didn't bother me that much. I mean, I kind of, the way I operate about it is like, what did you expect exactly? You expect Auburn to win that game against Vanderbilt? Vanderbilt's good. Auburn's not. Like, showing improvement was kind of the main thing I was looking for, and I saw that defensively. I was not schooled up on the defense and what happened in the game yet, but when we were on the Collins show, but I am now, and I'll tell you some of the things that happened. I think you just got to tip your hat to Vanderbilt, man. They had some fantastic play calls. I'll talk you through them real quick. I wrote them all down. They ran a crazy option. Crazy. That's what we used to, that we had it at we ran that in high school, and then we ran that in at Huntington. It's an option. It's basically a triple option, but instead of having like a read at first, you have an underneath guy and an outside guy. One's your pitch guy on the back, and one's your shovel guy. And based on the way the end plays it, you either shovel it or pitch it like speed option. They shoveled it, third down, right? Perfect play call. Not much you can do about that. They called a running back slow screen on 2nd and 10, caught Auburn in a blitz. Perfect play call. And it was a crucial one. 7 points were given to Vanderbilt. A coverage bust. Can't have coverage busts in college football, man. Okay, they hit you with tempo. You still can't do it. This is not the first time this has happened to Auburn. Baylor did it to Auburn this year. It's probably happened a few other times. I just don't remember. On a 3rd and 5 with 10 minutes, 17 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Vanderbilt ran a rub play. They ran 3 rub plays, actually, but this particular one was perfect. Jay Crawford had to follow a guy all the way across the formation, and then he got caught up by 3 different routes in his face as that guy caught the ball and got an easy first down, which led to Vanderbilt eventually taking the lead with that drive. So, perfect play call. I mean, elite. And then they ran a speed option on the 9-yard line on 3rd and goal and checked to it. It was not actually their original call, and pitched off of Keldrick Falk without another Auburn defender in the area to make the play. Perfect play call. Checked to it, made it that way on purpose. They had a mesh sit down in overtime, caught Auburn in zone. They had scared Auburn out of man with all their rub routes and things of that nature. So they just ran a play that worked on zone, and it was a mesh play with a sit down over the top like you've seen Auburn run. And then, of course, the tight end slip off of the RPO that looked kind of like a Tebow pop pass or a Kerryon Johnson to Nate Craig Myers. Perfect play calls that you just have to go, all right, pretty good there, Tim Beck. And of course, they got the maestro running it in Diego Pavia, who I have the utmost respect for. He runs his mouth a lot, and I'm not too huge on that, but he backs it up. He backs it up, and he is a baller. And then Eli Stowers gives some credit to that guy. But overall, man, I mean, I saw a lot of people asking, where's the spy? Why is Auburn not using the spy? Well, guess what? They did. And it was Xavier Atkins, who's been Auburn's best player. And Pavia was beating it, plain and simple. Now, Atkins did get a sack off of being a spy from one play. I bet you missed that one. That did happen. But pretty much they had a way to beat the spy. And it was mostly Pavia doing it himself. And then, of course, the splits. And if you've read my article on Auburn Sports, you already know this. But the splits, they go wide splits from center to tight end, spreading out the front, and that helped the running lanes and also made Auburn have to guess on their fronts the entire game, which you haven't seen them do a whole lot this year. They pretty much go with that 3 front and they took Auburn out of that comfort zone, and then of course shredded a secondary that's been susceptible to being shredded before. So all those things, it's not so shocking to me that Auburn's defense looked the way it did. Now, last drive of the game, Vanderbilt has a chance to finish this thing, put a field goal, get in field goal range, and finish this thing. They go for it on fourth down. Of course, remember Auburn got them to a fourth down. That's important to remember too. And then they don't get it. Bryce Diaz makes a phenomenal effort play on the edge and stops Pavia, who was stumbling, but still, it was an effort play. Nonetheless, it was fantastic. So that's just a quick synopsis of the defense. That's what I saw. That's what the film tells me. And yeah, look, I mean, you got to be better than that. Auburn's been better than that. They still played the run really well, but it got shredded in the passing game and did not contain Pavia. And a lot of that was youngsters, man. DeMarcus Riddick screwed it up earlier in the game. He got yanked. They put in Bryce Diaz to do it. They had Amaris Williams doing it. Both of those guys messed it up a few times, and that's all it takes to get into a dogfight. And but I'll tell you, what stands out to me after watching this film again is the resiliency, man. Resiliency that was not there a week ago. Now, how did they do that exactly? How did they instill that resiliency in a week like it happened overnight? And I see a lot of people and, Jake Crane and all these, even Jeffrey to an extent. I think me and Jeffrey agree with each other more than we thought. But people that are freaking out about it a little bit and wanting to clean house or whatever, well, that's what they did this week, man. They changed a 12 personnel congested RPO outdated offense into a spread attack. Empty. I'm going empty on you 16 times in the game. That's how many I got. It might be even more than that. 17 or 18 maybe. We're going to attack the middle of the field, throwing the football. We're going to pop runs on you with tempo. We're going to trust our quarterback to do this. The same quarterbacks that have been there all year, right? The same one that couldn't hardly get a pass off against Kentucky. And it took a week. That's a wholesale change to me. You're talking about changing everything. That's a change. And that's why, man, they had resiliency in this game because they were confident about what they were doing. And they're not sitting there going, okay, look, I got this read right here. Okay, let me make this pre-snap read. They're not having to do all that. Make the first read and then tear into it. That was the plan. Sure, get it to the playmakers. Sure, we'll change some things. We'll tweak some things. At the end of the day, that was the message from Derek Nix, DJ Durkin, whoever was involved. Take the first read, tear into it. Don't wait. I don't know if they threatened him with being yanked or whatever, but whatever they did, it worked. Hats off for me. Applause for me. I want you to win the games. But I'm impressed with that part. So having said all that, I do want to just take a second to address the coaching search. And I guess what I've heard, I think Alan and I did from what we've heard so far, it seems like the 5 guys that we settled on the other night doing our show, pretty solid. I think those are the 5. Now, we did not mention Kenny Dillingham, and I think Kenny Dillingham is a very is definitely a target. I know what he said. I don't care about all that. I don't care what anybody says this time of year. Anybody can up and leave any job. Okay, that's just the world we live in. They can say whatever you want, right? Them saying things like that is just them doing their jobs at their schools. That's what that is. Okay, and Kenny Dillingham, I think, is definitely in the mix. I will say that. We did not mention him as much the other night, and I think we should have. Maybe falling out of the mix a little bit is Jeff Brom. I love Jeff Brom. I think he's going to end up elsewhere, maybe Florida, and Drinkwitz. I think he's a big name at Florida too. So couple of names there that I don't know, maybe not feeling as much as I was a week ago. More so feeling Kenny Dillingham. Still hearing a lot about John Summerall. I still hear a lot about. I hear a little bit about Charles Kelly. I still think that's more of a plan B, maybe fallback. but not necessarily one where they're going, we screwed up if we get to this. One that they're going, now we really like him, but should he be in the top? You know, that I think that's what the question is right now. So I would consider Dillingham one of the top three, probably along with Summerall. Maybe James Franklin. I think probably he's in it more than I gave credit originally, but I don't know how much I'm buying that. So this is the part of the coaching search where we hear things and we have to decipher if it's good or right or wrong. And, speaking of that, man, the whole thing with coming out now and saying all this stuff about Hugh Freeze, was I hearing that Hugh Freeze wasn't as involved in the spring? Yeah. Was I hearing that maybe not taking the recruiting approach as much? Yeah. I don't know if I ever shared it, but it's one of those things where you hear it and you go, look, people are frustrated. They've been losing. You have to take that into account. At least that's how I do it. I pass along everything that I think I know is true. Okay. If I'm having to question it, if I'm going, I haven't seen that with my own eyes. Sometimes I don't. Maybe I should. Maybe I should do that more. But I don't remember if I ever talked about it. But there was I know that I sensed a change with how things were going there. I just didn't know how to word it exactly, or if I should even go there. Like I kind of just wanted to go. Let's see what it looks like on the field, and that will give us all of our answers. And yeah, you all know how that looked. So I think it all comes out in the wash at the end. But anyway, having said all that's my quick thoughts on the coaching search. I don't have a ton of intel with this yet. We're still trying to figure it out. It's early, although I do think that they are wanting to get some interviews going, wanting to get something in place here and make a hire probably around Iron Bowl week. That is what I'm hearing. So, without further ado, let's get into the film. All right. So unfortunately, maybe I'm going to have to start my own YouTube account and start putting these games up there and potentially getting banned from YouTube for doing it. Whatever, I don't care. But I don't have all the clips this week, unfortunately. So some of these we'll just have to talk through as we go and just explain it without showing you the clip. And I do have a lot of clips. I have a lot of the important ones, but not every single one I want to show. Um, so the main thing I want to do with this film room tonight is talk about the differences, the nuances, the wrinkles, the things that they changed. What did they see with the other offense and go, we're not doing that anymore. This is what we're doing. I want to go through that stuff. All right. So first drive of the game was excellent for Auburn. They started with a power read. Then they went to an RPO, and I think they handed it off. All right. And then they get to a 3rd and 8. And I remember thinking as I was watching this, like, oh boy, 3rd and 8. That's not good. Not good. And they go empty. And I'm like, whoa, empty. Okay. Interesting. Right? Okay. So empty, I would call this maybe, let's see, what did I call it? Drop back curls and flats. Okay. So right here, curl. And the weird thing here is instead of running like flat routes, these defenders, I learned something the other day. Do I know how to do it though? How to put a spotlight on the guy? I can't mess with it now. Anyway, these two guys just stand there and just turn and look for the ball and just give him, like an option to throw it to. And I thought that was really cool. I want to talk about this protection real quick. I think this is slide protection. So what it should look like, it's slide left. I've taught slide on here before. If you got a guy hit up our outside shoulder, that's going to be a lock right there. Lock. Okay. Head up or outside shoulder. This is close enough for head up. Call it a lock. And they actually did it right this time. So then the slide starts here. All right. See how that makes sense? And they execute it pretty well. Pick up the twist. There's a twist right here. He goes here. He's the looper, and they pick it up pretty nicely. Not great, but good enough. They close down the gap. So that's the biggest thing they were missing. They were leaving these gaps wide open. They just didn't have any gap integrity as pass protectors. And you see right here, I believe this is Murphy at center. Murphy's starting to lose a little bit, but he sees the guy coming late and closes down on it. At the end of the day, that's a win, right? Even though he loses ground, that's a win. Now, you got Miller out here on an island, which is, you could go either way. Pretty good work by him. I mean, great effort. The set's a little unorthodox. He doesn't have a great post foot at all, but, gets in his way, makes him go inside. That gives Daniels an escape route. Boom, good throw right there to Perry Thompson. Right, so I think his first read is probably your sit down over the middle, and then he keeps working out. And then they worked inside out. I thought was pretty cool instead of outside in. That I think that made the reads quicker and faster for Ashton Daniels. That's a good throw, great conversion. I love the empty stuff, man. Let's see what this is. Empty. I call this a slot hitch right here, but I think this is an option. So what I mean by that is I believe he's got the option to sit down or slant. I think that was the option. Sit down here or slant based on how this guy covers it, right? So here he just kind of gets into the hole and sits down, and then the ball's on him immediately. And because it's empty, I think that really helps, right? Because they're having to spread it out. Look at how they're lined up to this. The backers walked into the alley. I mean, if they wanted to go Q power here, they got 5 against 4, and they do that a lot actually in this game. 2 safeties, and then they've got somebody walked out over each guy somewhat. Right. So spread it out. And then you got this backer having to decide what to do with this slot, and he can't get there fast enough. It was just really smart, man. I thought that was great offense. All right, so they get the first down. They just go split zone, take the RPO attachment off of it. Here's an RPO here, and it was a bad combo between Howard and Miller. I wanted to show that one, but don't have it. So let's see. 3rd and 9. Why did they go backwards here? Let's see. They end up getting a penalty. I believe it might be holding on Miller. Yeah, it was. It was holding on Miller. Okay, so now they get a 3rd and 19. And look, they're going empty again. I mean, I remember watching this first drive. I was like, empty? Dude. I mean, this is crazy. I hadn't seen them go empty all year. So all this is a tunnel screen, but I wanted to show it. It's awesome. It's a great tunnel screen. They executed it so well, right? Great timing, great throw, great blocks, and a great play, a great run after the catch by Simmons. So Preston Howard's block here is really nice. He approached it well. Get your hands inside, but other than that, pretty good. I thought Isaiah Miller right here, of all the grief I've given him, and he's earned it in some places. So he knocks this guy away, and then he runs laterally. It takes an angle at this defender, and boy, he cuts him off. It's nice. Get him away, go, cut him off. And that's what made the play right there. Beautiful job. Great execution right there. All right. So they get the first down. I really wanted to show this one. This is where they let's see. Yes, this was a throw to Simmons. I don't have the play for it, but it's a deep crosser. This is the same one you saw them run against Baylor, where Cam Coleman caught the ball. I think it was his only catch against Baylor. And it's the same play. Play action, deep crossers. Simmons was crossing. He saw that Daniels was on the run, and he came back to him. Great play. And he dropped one on the next play. Might be this one that he dropped it. Anyway. All right, so 3rd and 6. Evidently, empty was the 3rd down look here. Slot option. Boom. Same play we saw a minute ago. He can either slant it or sit down. And they must have worked on that. Like, if he sits, throw. All right, there it is. Boom. First down. Easy. There's really not much analysis to give with it. It's like so bam, bam, right? I love it. Here's another one that I don't have the play for, but they went 2x2 here, which is doubles. I call it 2x2. And they had all kinds of stuff going on. I thought it was really cool. They showed like bubble, but also had a crosser over the top. So it drew them in and away from the crosser. And I think, did they hit it? Yeah. Looks like they. Oh, I think Daniels ran that one. Yeah. All right. So first down, we're still on the same drive here. Back to your RPO game. Except, what's the difference? All right. What's the difference? That's what we're asking on every play this week. All right. Usually, this right here would be an option for either the hitch or the go or fade, whatever you want to call it, based on how this guy plays it. Now, what made that play tough and the reason why Jackson Arnold threw an interception against Arkansas is because this guy right here can bait his coverage. He can show like he's playing off, but then play up on it when the guy hitches. Or he can play up on it and then bail when the guy takes over the top. So what do? You have to add a different route to it. And this is what we suggested earlier in the week, right? Not that hard. Very simple. We'll just run a slant underneath you. If you're going to play that game, we're not going to let you dictate it. We will dictate it. Slant. Check it out. Not the greatest slant in the world, but you get the idea here. That was the right play. Very good throw right here from Ashton Daniels. And you'll see the box is pretty heavy, so he wanted to go there. Safety was inside the hash here. This is him. Anyway, this is the guy I'm talking about. He's inside the hash, so he knows he's got his slant. He's going to walk up when he shows the play fake. It works as a play action, really, but it's not. It's an RPO. He could hand it off. So that's how they score on that first one. That was fantastic work, fantastic drive. You see, I started this one here. I don't have the clip. We'll just skip those. But obviously, that was a pretty good play. Actually, no, this was a bad play. And it was a mistake by Daniels. It was a shoot route, which we've seen a lot with Freeze's offense. So, again, they're still running the same stuff at the end of the day. And Edge blew it up. Just wasn't going to happen. But Daniels ate it, and that was probably really smart. All right, a 2nd and 10 here, and they go with an RPO. And this was one of his better plays of the day. This is very, very good. Now, why that A-gap guy comes in like that, I'm not entirely sure. Everybody walked up. Oh, I know. Basically, Murphy's accountable for this cat right here, right? And they're full zoning it, so they have more guys walked up than they can account for. So somebody's coming free. Ashton Daniels knows that from the jump. This is not something that he's surprised by. Like, it looks like he's surprised. He's not. He knew it was coming. And he knew where his outlet was. It's a slot option. Boom. And that's confidence, guys. That is what's the difference on this play? Confidence. I knew the look. I knew what I had right here, right? I knew what he was going to do. I don't have to question what he's going to do. And I'm going to get it to him. And he's a playmaker. He's going to go make a play. Fantastic work. All right. They get the first down. What do? Are we going to go back to RPO game on first down? Nope. We're going to stay unpredictable and go drop. Not only that, going 2x2 on you and then moving the back out so where it's empty basically at the snap. All right. And I think, let's see, I believe this is another slide protection like we saw earlier. So if that is the case, then it would look like this: slide left. So backside tackle makes the first call, head up or outside. He's outside. Lock. Okay. Guard, does he have head up or outside? We'll call that head up. Lock. Center, head up or outside? Anybody? Nope. Slide, slide, slide. I think that's what we got here. And they've really fixed that. Now, right gets beat a little bit. They have a late guy come in on a twist that they didn't pick up very well. But because it is a slide, Daniels knows he's got extra protection on that side and he can escape that way. Right? And he's got his drag. He could have hit his drag. I'm not sure why he didn't. Could have hit his back if he wanted to. He's got options. I don't think anything else was open. It was pretty deep. It was a deeper play, and he knew they were backing off, and again, knew he had a slide over there. Takes off. At least I think it's a slide. That's what I'm going with anyway. Picks up a first down, no problem. That's great stuff. You see Coach Dom over there getting fired up about it. 1st and 10, they go to a power G. And you see, I'm kind of picking up my tempo tonight based on what they were doing. Let's go, baby. Let's go a little faster. 2nd and 7 after a 3-yard gain on power G, they go empty. This has been the key, right? Early in this game, empty. That's been working. Boom. That's a laser. All right, so what do they have here? It's just a 2-man combo. Nothing crazy. Let's look at it. This is going to be like a little out route by Cobb, who is the slot, and then you got a curl coming back to it. And Daniels throws to the curl right about there. Ain't nothing hard about that. Boom. Throw was not the easiest throw in the world. He made it. All right, now where was he looking at first? Let's look at this. Slot option. We've got the slot option on the other side. Right here. I think he can either curl it or slant it. That's probably not accurate. Or slant. That's what it should look like. And this is Malcolm Simmons instead of Singleton this time, and it's just not a good route, man. It's kind of half, like he was not totally sure of it. So you see Daniels, he's going to it, and he goes, Let's check back to my other game I got going on over here. It's like you got 2 plays on both sides, right? So he goes back to his out and curl, and he finds Coleman. I would call that your second read. I think his first read was definitely the slot option. So, again, going through the reads here, making it faster. If that's not there, if this curl's not there when he goes back to it, I'm out, is what Daniels is thinking, right? All right, so they pick up the first down on that play. Now we're going to go trips. Actually, this is not trips. This is quads. There's one eligible receiver. Well, actually, he may not be. But tight end, receiver, receiver, receiver. So you got 4 to that side. They got the wide side of the field. They'll go sprint to it. Boom, to the back. Love it. It's like a dash play, I think they call this. But also you have from these guys like a clear out concept. And if the little running back dash is not there, you've got he's out, and then underneath. And you can throw that on the run near the boundary. He could have thrown it. I think it was open, but he went ahead and took his back, and that was perfect. Nothing wrong with that at all. Boom. Ball's a little behind him, but Cobb adjusts and makes a good play on it. All right. Here's your Q power. All right. Again, what's different? Q power, they've run that before with Jackson Arnold several times, sure. They usually run it in 12 personnel. What we got here is 11. 3 receivers, 1 tight end, that's the 1 in 11, and then 1 running back, that's the other 1 in 11. So there's your defenders out of the box, and they want to keep 2 safeties because these guys are bothering them right now. So 1 backer in the box. Remember I told you earlier they could have run Q power. Now they got this kind of alley player here that could be problematic, but it's Q power. So you're hitting right, I think it's this guard that pulls, and you're hitting right here. It could be this one. Either way, you're running Q power right there in the A gap. Let's see. Yeah, it was right that pulls. There's the A gap. Touchdown. Pretty good block there by Preston Howard. Inside out. Run your feet a little bit more. Hands inside. Not bad. And then right kills that backer right there. Perfect. Perfect. All right, new drive. Yeah, don't have a clip for it, but this was an important play. This was just one of those where Daniels looks off and then makes the throw, and it was really good. So, unfortunately, I don't have a clip. All right, after that one, they go first down. Don Draper says this is actually enjoyable to watch this week. All right, first down. Inside zone. This was an RPO. I don't think I labeled it right, but they have the slot option over there, and they got an option with the single receiver, but Daniels elects to hand it off. It's a big run. Now, what are they doing up front that's different? They're locking it instead of just your usual inside zone. If this was inside zone to the right, he would go here. They'd combo here. All right, he'd maybe climb to the backer after posting that guy, block, man block. But instead, we're locking lock the usual read man. So now this is a man block. This is a man block to the backer, man block, and here. And they can combo this guy, and they may have. They can either combo this guy or just go full zone. Full zone meaning everybody gets a man block. And, yep, that's what they do. Full zone, man block. And that showed to be a really nice deal. By the way, guys, my hands are freezing. I am cold. I'm up in we have a room that's connected to the house that has a different air conditioning unit, and I'm not turned on the heat. And it's freezing as I'm recording this. My hands are like ice cold. I have to stop and do that every once in a while. But you understand what I'm saying here? This is not your typical inside zone. They are not reading it. They take this read guy out of it, and they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 man blocks all the way across. It's not your usual combo. And everybody handles their man blocks really well. Cobb slips on out of there, and you'll see this a lot as this game goes on. I thought that was a nice little adjustment. And it's easy because you got a 5-man box, basically. And that's what you're working with because of the formation. Why is this so difficult? Why was this so hard to figure out? Nah, let's congest it. Let's bring everybody in and then go against 8-man boxes and get these dirty runs. Man, get out of here with that stuff. All right. There's a time for it. You can't do it all the time, okay? You just can't. We know how that looks now. I think you got an RPO here. Yep. Again, they hand it off. This is the very next play, and they do the same thing. It's again, they're working against what they're considering a 5-man box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, this guy's problematic, but as far as the blocking goes, we're locking the read man, and then man block, slip up, man. They may have a different name for it. We called it lock. And he's out because everybody's got a hat on a hat. Don't even have to be perfect blocks. Just get a hat on a hat, right? Another pretty cool little play they drew up here for empty. Doesn't do well. Can't remember why. Oh, I think it was a sack. I think he was sacked on this play. 2nd and 11. They ran the usual play here that you saw with freeze, where it's the hitch or go over the top, and they ran the hitch and threw it for a few yards to get them a 3rd and 6. All right, and I think they're in the red zone here, so we're talking about red zone offense now. 3rd and 6. They're in doubles, 2 by 2. And they go with a tight end slot slant, which is pretty good. I mean, Howard, however you feel about that, but pretty good play. I mean, they got the one-on-one with the tight end here, and he's slanting, and he actually does flash open, but when he does, you see Daniels has pressure right in his face, but credit goes to Jeremiah Cobb here. Watch Cobb. As there's pressure leaking through, he goes and picks up the A-gap defender and works him. Look how long he works him. Get out of here. Get. Keep working. And then I'm out. Daniels is out. Makes a very big play all the way down to the 2, the 1. Look at Miller out here. He just takes off and goes and gets that guy. I don't know how he knew that, but I guess he just couldn't hold his water. He saw a guy there. He wanted to go block him, and it worked out. Or maybe he had the same time clock, and he's like, all right, something's going on back there. Let me just go get a hat on somebody. That was good. Daniels is fast, guys. He can move. I knew he was fast. I didn't know he was that fast. So they get to a 1st and goal, and we get a false start by Chaplin. And this was going to be a slot corner route with 2 ends and a corner route from the inside guy of the trips. Thought that was a good play. They go Q counter on 2nd and goal and get, I think, maybe a yard or 2, maybe not. They might have lost a yard. So 3rd and goal, they go with a swing screen, and it gets blown up. Not much you can do. Great effort by Cam Coleman here to go chase that down. You got a free edge coming in because it's an RPO. Yeah, kind of tough. Maybe don't go RPO. One thing that I think they still could change, and I'm not critiquing a whole lot this week, but I would maybe take the RPOs out when you get in the red zone because it's so congested. They can send more blitzers. They feel better about going man coverage, so they can blow it up like that. That would be my one suggestion. All right. So they end up kicking a field goal, I believe, on that one. Next drive, 1st and 10. They go empty, slot fade, but it was covered well. And the ball was just a little late from Daniels. Not bad. Good, almost good enough, not quite. 2nd and 10, RPO, power G. You got Cobb getting a pretty big run here, and they get a 1st down. Again, power G, they're changing up the run schemes. I like that they're not just going inside zone every time. So what's different? Power G. They just run straight power G there. All right. So 1st and 10, and this is all tempo, of course, because it's before half. It's the drive before half, which was managed to perfection, in my opinion, almost. I mean, you could have scored, but, as far as getting points out of it, they did a great job. I don't know. I didn't know what to call this, but it was a check down to Cobb is how it ended up. All right. 2nd and 10. I believe this is after that check down. Okay. 2nd and 10. 31 seconds. Boom. There's your slant again. And I believe the read this time, because of the look, is going to be this guy right here, because he's in the slant lane. If he steps back, you hand it off. If he comes up, throw it. And that's exactly what Daniels did. Guys in no man's land, then he starts coming up. Boom. Now, he starts coming up after the back's already gone. So it was a good play fake. So he was going to throw it or take off with it. That was his plan after that, and he throws it. All right. So then Auburn crosses midfield with 27 seconds and counting. With 25 seconds, they clocked it. I think maybe right there they called a timeout 1. They run this little slant tight end corner. I think it was a completion. Yeah, completion for 7 yards. All right, 2nd and 3. This was another drop back where they make it like trips. That's a sit down right there. This is like the one you saw earlier in the game, and it does go to Perry Thompson again. Boom. Protection's really good here. Guys, and look at Chaplin. He's so late off the ball. Does he really have hearing problems? I just don't. It's crazy to me. Look how late he is. He's still in his stance a whole second later. But they picked up the blitz pretty well. 14-13, and I think they clock it right there. They did have one, but I think let's see, did they clock it right here? I didn't show it. Anyway, I think they got one more play out of it, an inside zone just to get 3 more yards, and then they kicked field goal and got it. Great job. All right, second half, first 10 power read, second 11 drop crosser and post, 3rd and 9, and guess what we're in on 3rd down, empty. Here's tunnel screen again. Didn't happen this time. Not quite as good. A little bit more jumbled. They were a little more ready for it this time. Good pursuit by the D-line. Just wasn't there. All right, and I think at that point in the game, you're going, okay, 3 and out, not good. Not good. Here we go again, right? All right, first 15 after a false start. This was a fantastic catch. I don't know why the highlights did not have this in there. This was Coleman's catch where he got his toe inside the white, and it was a slot fade and an option. Slot fade on the opposite side, an option. And it was an RPO. It was the one we looked at earlier where Daniels handed it off. This time he throws the option to Coleman. All right. Let's see. I think he hands off the inside zone here, and you just have an edge blitzer blow it up, but Cobb makes a terrific play. Nothing you can do about that defender that comes in on inside zone unless you lock it, and then you would be looking for that guy, but you wouldn't know to do that considering he's lined up way off. So it was a great blitz by Vandy, and Auburn found a way out of it because of a great play by Cobb. All right, 1st and 10, 2nd and 5, 1st and 10. We'll move on through these a little bit. Okay. I think this is a new drive. 1st and 10, this is the whip dig concept. It's really a little bit different than your typical whip route. But basically he sits right here, and then he's going to work that way, and he's just going to work over the top of it. It's more rounded than that. It's more like that. And then he's working that way, basically. He sits first. Sit, and then go. Great job by Daniels. Throwing it right in the hole. Boom. Great play. Protection's great. Well, you got a late leakage there with Chaplin, letting the guy work him inside. But you remember Chaplin is also accountable for his outside. So Wade needs to help there as long as he can while keeping tabs on his inside. But in the grand scheme of things, you ran a whip and dig and had all that time to throw it. So this is a pretty good protection rep. Good job by Singleton to get an extra yard or 2. All right. I can't remember if it's the same drive or not, but you get another 1st down, empty slot option. And the way I explained it was back to the well that's providing water, and guess what? Still providing water. Okay. 1st and 10 after another 1st down. Here's the play action deep crossers that I was talking about. The play that you saw in the Baylor game, but I think, and this is an intentional grounding by Daniels because he gets blitzed and he has to get rid of it. He freaked out a little bit. I think you're supposed to have Perry Thompson in that area. For some reason, he runs this. I don't know why, because you have an underneath crosser. This is the cross they've been doing, right? The other time they ran it, Perry was on that side. I think he might have been wrong here. And Daniels was hoping he would be in that vicinity by the time the ball landed. Now, what happened up front? I think Howard, I don't really like this protection, so I'll give Howard the benefit of the doubt. He's coming across, and he's protecting this C gap. And he just kind of gets here and stops. And you have to stay tight to the line so understand what he's doing because you can't let this gap open. But the guy goes around him, and makes the play pretty quick. And that's kind of why I don't like this protection that much. That's kind of tough. So give him the benefit of the doubt on that. But also, I think Perry Thompson possibly ran the wrong route there. That's what I'm questioning anyway. All right. I believe this was just not a very good route by Simmons on a slot slant, maybe. Yeah, something like that. All right, 1st and 10, split zone, no RPO that I can tell. Split zone, for those who are not familiar. So you have Preston Howard coming across here, and Auburn has run this year, but not that much. Coming across, and then he's going to kick once he gets here. Kick, and you're kicking this in to the end man of the line scrimmage, and then it's a zone up front. All right? And this is a really good job by Preston Howard. Stick him. And then Cobb slips right through there. Cobb had good vision in this game. That was a great cutback right there. Had so much room to run before getting touched a lot of times, too. I mean, they did a pretty good job up front this week. Give them some credit. And then they ran split zone the very next play off of tempo, and Vandy stopped it for a loss, I believe, or a no gain. 2nd and 10. This was just a breakdown. I think the play was either handed off or throw the slot, option hitch, whatever it is. And because Miller's kind of beating that guy, he's out there and has a chance to make a play on the passing lane. So Daniels wisely pulls down, and, he's lucky Dylan Wade and Chaplin were working their guys like they were. He's able to slip out for a nice gain. And it looks like he's just kind of lumbering through there, but, man, he's got long strides and he's fast, Ashton Daniels is. He escaped out of that and made a big play out of it. I mean, that's a big play. I don't know if it got a first down, but it was close. Let's see. Yeah, I think it got a first down. So this is the first down play following that. RPO. And 8's out there somewhere, right? And I'm trying to decide why they just got so much. They got a lot coming here for some reason. And Dylan Wade, I'm not sure why he went inside on the guy like that. Because this one's kind of funky. It's supposed to be inside zone left. If that's the case, he should have that guy all day and not work inside out like that. But either way, Daniels just went, I'm going to throw it to Cam. I don't care what it looks like out there. We're going to give him a shot. And that must have been something they told him, like, just when in doubt, can we just maybe toss it up to 8? Worked out greatly here. I don't even know if Cam was ready for it, but it happened. All right. 1st and 15. Again, you got another false start, I guess it was. That play gets a few yards. 2nd 11, they go with a quarterback run and get a pretty good little gain and make it a 3rd and manageable. And I believe they're in the red zone here. Yeah, close to it. Oh, yeah. Look at this celebration. Michael Myers. That's pretty funny, I have to admit. Not big on celebration, but whatever. All right, so what did I teach y'all on the last film room we did? Anytime they got these close slots, mesh every time. That's how it was anyway. Nope, not this time. They ran it. Not only did they run it, they ran a great play off of something. This is how you set things up, right? So same motion. Vandy goes, okay, here comes split zone. So this guy's trying to scream in there not to get kicked by the tight end like he did last time. And when he does, Preston Howard pulls the rug on him, goes arc release, and then you got the read here. And Ashton Daniels pulls it. And I call that lasso. and this was it. Lasso. We had it at Huntington. This is your lasso blocker right here, and it's just what the phrase we used when we wanted to attach this block to a zone read play, right? So watch him. He'll go around the read man. Ashton Daniels pulls it, and that is a hold, 100%. But it's a lead blocker for the quarterback pull, and it's a great play. Gus ran this all the time. It was really popular around that time. You don't see it quite as much anymore, but this was a great play call. And again, man, look how fast he is. They had him. Right here, they got him. This guy's got him 100%. Just a little subtle move, and then he's out. He don't look like he's moving that fast, but he's moving fast. Let me just explain that to you. Okay, so new drive, first and goal. They're back to the RPO game, power G. I think they handed off, didn't get much from a blitz from Vandy. 2nd and 10, they go drop, and they go with this little bunch over here. But they go to this side, make it look like a bubble. It is a bubble with just a little hitch or sit down, whatever you want to call it. And give some credit here. Cam lost the football. Can't do that. Give some credit to Jeremiah Cobb. I do not know how he got that football back. But, man, he fought like crazy to get it back. So that saved probably some points. That effort on that play probably saved some points because I think they go 3 and out here, 3rd and 7. Doesn't happen. I think Daniels is sacked on that play. So new drive, 1st and 10, Q power. They go back to the QB run game, get 5 on it. Don't have the clip, but it was a pretty good play. And then on 2nd and 5, this was the best throw of the night by Daniels, if you ask me. Off his back foot. Boy, that is a laser throw and on the money off your back foot, almost a sidearm type of deal. So good. But what was this play? Just like we drew it up a minute ago, and it's kind of cut off, but slot out, deep curl. That's what it was. Same thing as before. They completed it the first time. They got the same coverage. This time, Daniels knew it was coming open, and he found a way to get it there. That was a great run after the catch by Cam Coleman, who was also very fast, by the way. I said nice work by Wright, Miller, and Murphy. Yep. Let's see. Did they go full zone on this? Yeah, sure did. That full zone, man, it was working in this one because of the box. So, bam, single, up to the backer, single. And then you get the bounce. Great job. This time they go power G. Pull the guard. This is interesting because Daniels made a split decision. They don't have – there's really not a read. I mean, unless they somehow knew this guy was coming, and I don't see how they would. There's not a guy to read. You end up blocking that guy down. You're pulling your guard, and he reads this guy coming down from the alley on a blitz and pulls it off of that. I thought that was a really heads-up play. I think they did have some routes attached to that, but I don't think I called it. Did I call it an RPO? Yeah, I did. They had some routes attached to it. All right. This is the catch. And it is sluggo, is how we called it, sluggo. All right. Slant and go. Slant. You've already hit him on the slant a few times. Make a bite, then go. Unfortunately, for Daniels, this corner does not bite on the slant. He stays over the top. But Daniels said, I don't care. I'm gonna give 8 a shot. That was what I was told to do. As awesome as this catch was, the ball placement was about as good as you can ask for to give him a chance. How great is that ball placement? And if you're number 4 for Vanderbilt, what do you do here? You just watch. You watch your play later on Sports Center. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. And then the 2-point conversion, they just ran a fade. They got Cam Coleman singled up by taking the back out, and we're going to throw it to you again. This guy right here. I think they showed his reaction. Hang on. Please show him. I don't think they do. Oh, here he is. I hope he watches the show, man. This is hilarious. He cannot believe what he just witnessed. That's good stuff. All right. Moving on. Let's see. Where are we at? Okay, this is the last drive. Before the last drive of regulation. They go slant to Perry Thompson. That's a really good catch because he had a lot of heat on that throw. Boom. Good catch. Perry Thompson had a great game. Very quiet game, but very good. All right. I'm just calling this. This was something we saw a lot with Freeze, and they kept it for sure. I'm just calling it push off. You're not really supposed to do that, but each one of these guys are running to their defender and then pushing them and then coming back. Push, come back. Push, come back. Push, come back. That's just what that's all this is. Push them off and then box them out. And Daniels ends up checking it down because he didn't like any of those. Because those are actually really hard to just decide to throw because they look covered. You know, it's not the easiest thing to throw. So that was with, let's see, 18 seconds, and they're close to midfield. The play, and I don't know if we have oh, yes, we do. Good. Because I want to talk about this one. This is an important play. All right, so what you're going to have out here is a rub. He's going to run right at this guy and push him, basically block him, and then they're going to run an out route. And the plan was to hit the out route as it's going out of bounds, get out of bounds, and you're really, really close to Alex McPherson's range if you do that, and you stop the clock. But, and everybody's on Howard on this, but that was not a good throw. It was late. Should have been thrown on the break, number one. I'll show you right here. It's got to be thrown now. It's too late. And then he's still, even though he's late, he's got time to put it out in front of him. But look, Howard has to turn around and go up for it like this, and that's just not good. It's not a good throw. Now, if he catches that ball right here, it's game over, or at least the end of regulation. They're going overtime because of the way it was thrown. It's got to be better. And there's not a whole lot to critique about Ashton Daniels, but this play was one of them where you really want to see him settle in and make the right throw, make the better throw there, and lead his man out of bounds. And, you know, Howard, this is not necessarily the guy you want to go to if you ask me, but, you know, it was a good play call. I have no qualms about the play call. I think it was very good. And it was a rub. It was a good rub. Cam kept running. Just a little bump, and it's open. Thought that was a great play call. Would love to see Daniel settle in and make that play, but he did not. So we could go through the overtime stuff. Let's just do that real quick. I'll just walk you through the whole overtime. Let's see. And we'll look at a little bit of defense here by doing that. At least the plays that we've got on here. All right, so Vandy runs this quads bunch over here, and it's a mesh play. All right. I don't know if it's him or whoever it is, and then they have a sit down over the top, just like you've seen Auburn run with Singleton and hit several times. And again, they've hit Auburn so many times in man coverage and made them pay for it. So now Auburn, you know, trying not to get beat like that again is playing this zone. So they sense it and run a great play for it. Sit the guy down right in the middle of the zone. That's just good play calling. Masterful play call. And this is what I think is an RPO. And again, look at their split. That's how they widen the front like this. and they open those rushing lanes and decongest. I think decongesting is a great thing. And that's just a heck of a play, man. Not only do they slip a tight end out, it's the other guy. It's not Stowers, not the one that they're keyed in on. Hard to get mad at that. All right, here's Auburn's offensive possession. They bring Perry Thompson in. This is 11 personnel. He's winged with another wing, and they're just running inside zone here. And you get a great combo right there between Murphy and Wade. And Murphy will get to that backer and seal him off. And then you got Cobb at the middle. Now, as we say, this is a game of inches. And as good as Jeremiah Cobb has been, what is the one thing that I've told you several times that he struggles with? Making somebody miss at the second level. Not that this could have been a touchdown. I mean, you never know. But what if Cobb was dynamic in making a guy miss at the second level? In that case, right here, you got just this defender to make a move on and go score. But he's just not that guy, right? And that hurts in moments like those. It's a game of inches, right? Every inch and yard matters. I didn't really love this slot screen right here. Not just because it didn't work, but because I thought they were having so much success with their, with all the other stuff they've been doing. They had a slot screen on the other side too, or a bubble on the other side. I just, 2nd and 8, I almost would rather you hand it off and get to the third down a little bit closer, but can't. It is what it is, right? Now this I thought was one of the best play calls of the night, and it is the option route. It's the same thing they've been doing, right? He can either sit or he can slant. And what he ends up doing is sitting and stuttering at this guy and then going on the slant. Not that hard, but sit, stutter, and then slant. And boy, this is 6, man, if they can just get it to him. But Cuz right here does grab him ever so slightly and bothers it. And I've seen it called. I've seen it not called. So it was one of those plays where it's like it's up to the referee's discretion, and they don't call it. But man, this was the route, and the throw wasn't great. Let's be fairly critical here. The throw could have been better. Even with the grab, if you put the throw on his number, he's got a chance. But it was a little wild, a little hot. And this is the thing about Daniels that we talked about during the offseason and during the couple weeks where we thought we might see him. His throws are just a little too hot. He lacks some touch at times. Got a cannon. Don't get me wrong. Got a cannon. Lacks some touch. And I think this is one of those throws that could have been better. And you'll look here. I thought the protection was pretty dang good. You got a late looper coming, but he's late. Whew, could have been a huge play. I thought that was a good call, play call. I wish the ref would have taken the flag out, but it's a bang bang play. It's one of those where it's a very slight grab, and it's like, And then the last play, I hard to critique it. You go back, you look at it now, and you go, man, a comeback would have been great after the hitch, because we've seen them do that, where hitch, go, and then come back right here. That would have been nice. Hindsight's 2020. I think they did the right thing at the end of the day. The only critique maybe I have here is they do go max protection. And I don't know, maybe release your back and give a check down option. It's 4th and 7. You can still get a first down. I don't know if that would be enough. Just an extra route out there. They only had 2 routes with max protection, so it was pretty easy for Vanderbilt to double cover this. That would be my only thing. But as far as the idea and going to your guy, this is the right thing, in my opinion. So can't be too mad at that. That's how that one ends. It sucks. I didn't expect Auburn to have that much offense. I didn't expect Auburn to win. I picked Auburn to lose. So, it is what it is, man. I'm tired of them losing too, but I think it's not fair to not look at the progress that was made in a week and hope to continue to see that progress. Told Zach we'd go for about an hour. It's been an hour and 7 minutes. I went a little faster through that one because I just felt like that was appropriate with the way they went faster this week. And it just felt like that was the rhythm of this thing this week. So I followed that. I followed suit and did it just like that. Hopefully, you guys learn from that and see the differences and the nuances that Derek Nix put into the offense this week, and maybe some of the messaging that was given to quarterback to Ashton Daniels from Nix, and maybe even Durkin and other guys, maybe Ken Austin. I don't know who to give credit to exactly. I know Nix called the plays and did a phenomenal job as far as I'm concerned. I thought that play right before the throw to Coleman at the end had so much potential. I thought was the right call. Both times I thought they were the right call. The only one I didn't like was the slot screen. That one wasn't great to me. But overall, man, called a heck of a game. Defense, I think youth got you in a few areas. I think penalties got you. Face masks were costly. And then coverage, which has been an issue all year. Coverage busts and coverage communication seem to be happening a lot. Miscommunication, maybe so. And then you had a mismatch with Stowers. That was also a problem. Just the perfect storm of things on defense, man. I think going forward, the defense is still what it is. I think they stopped the run really well. They did that against Vanderbilt. They made a stop when it counted. So after looking at it and taking in everybody's opinion, which there was a lot of those this week, that's my conclusion on it. So as always, again, if you're watching this on YouTube, man, you're about a day and a half late. Our folks over at the corner in the bunker, they've already feasted on this. They've enjoyed it. They've talked about it and discussed it, and they've moved on. You're getting it late. And pretty much everything else you get is late too. So you should really consider joining us. And you can do that for $1 for a week trial. So come give it a try. We got coaching search intel, coaching charts, hot boards, all of the good stuff, man. And recruiting signing days coming up. The Iron Bowl's coming up. It's going to be a huge recruiting weekend, and we got a lot of that going on. So come join us over there, man. Come join the family. Commit. Appreciate you guys for watching this week. Hope you learned something. And as always, never pass on a playmaker. See you.